Hi everyone, welcome to this video tutorial. In this video, we will continue with the My Contacts web app. This is part 2. We will add the ability to create a new contact. First, let's review part 1. First, we created a new MX project named My Contacts. Then we used the Data and Services tab and configure New to create a new data table. The data table will have those 4 operations. Then we define the parameters to hold a contact. Contact ID, name, company, phone, email, address, and notes. Contact ID is the primary key and it is auto-generated. After laying out the table, we use the Publish Project option to publish the Foundry backend. Now, under the main canvas of the RS IDE, we will create new forms. Using Forms New Form to create a blank form, we'll rename that to Form List Contacts. Then we drag the Get operation over to the blank canvas. It creates this UI to list all contacts. And note under Action, the low-code action script to fetch data is also auto-generated. Here's the Get operation. And then after a successful fetch, we will map the services data onto the screen. Next, we create a second form. The form will be Form Show One Contact. And we'll drag over the same Get operation and asking it to create the detailed UI to list the detail of a contact. And here, the logic script to fetch that detail is also auto-generated. Once fetched, the data then is mapped onto the screen. Now you have 2 forms. The list contact will list all your contacts, and on a user click of 1 will take you to the second form to show the contact details. Let's now add a new functionality, New Contact, so that you can add a new contact into your contact list. First, what we will do is we will create a new form. We'll rename that form into FRM New Contact. Now you have a blank UI. We'll navigate to the Data and Services panel, and we are going to drag the Create operation from the Foundry service onto the canvas. It's going to create for you a UI for you to input the contact ID, the name, company, phone, email, address, and notes. And then in addition to the Add button, you also have the logic to save this new contact to the Foundry object service, which is right here. Okay, and the method is create. If you look at the mapping, you can see that it's taking a text box from screen and sending it to your services. Now, if you follow this logical action script tree, first thing it does is it indicates that the app is busy. Then it invokes the service to create a new contact in the middleware. On the successful callback, it checked was the new contact inserted, op status equals 0. No, there's no branch for the success. The only branch is on the failure. So in the failure, it follows through to the else, and it shows an error. So we need to handle the success branch. So on the success, we will create an alert by using the show alert action node. We drag it over next to the if. When you see an arrow, let go. So now this will be the yes branch. So what we want to do now is show an alert to the user that a new contact has been created. So the alert type is an info, new contact created. That's the title. The yes label is just okay. Message type is constant. The alert message. Okay. Once we are satisfied with that, we can also click on validate to make sure that this sequence is correct, and it is correct. And save it. Now, one thing to note, this contact ID is auto-generated. So when the screen is being executed, the user will only have to provide the name, the company, the phone, the email, the address, and any notes. So we want to hide this and prevent from the user from inserting or adding an incorrect value to the primary key. So put the focus on that, and we see that's the label of this field. Here's the box that holds the field. So this is the entire container for the primary key, which we don't want. So all I have to do is make it invisible, and you saw that it's hidden from from the form or the UI. Let's save it. Now we need to modify this first screen, this first form, so that when the user click on the new button here, it will navigate to this form, new contact. Okay, let's put a focus right here. And this tells us that this area is part of that flex header container. So we can drag a button here. So what we do is we drag this button to here. Okay, let's size it accordingly. We name it new. Okay, and then there are several options in order to align this button within its container, and we want to for it to always be centered vertically. Okay, so for the center Y, we'll hit on percent, and we'll say 50%. So that means that this button is always centered vertically. Okay. We can also make it a little nicer by adding a border around it. Okay, so we hit on skin. The focus is still on that new button. Skin. And here's the border option. We set that to 1 pixel. The style of the border will be rounded corner. And now you see that the border is white. Okay. Okay. So then now we focus on the action. When this button is clicked, you want to navigate to form new contact. So on the on-click event, under the action tab of the button, click on edit. And all we have to do is navigate to new contact. Save. Alright, so recap what we did. We created a new form. We rename it to Form New Contact. Drag over the data and services to create this UI. And we note that there's already code here in order to create a new contact when the user click on add. We also hide the primary key because we don't want the user to enter a value as a primary key as it is auto-generated. Then we add a new button, and when it is clicked, it navigates over to that new contact form. Now let's test it. We're going to do build, live preview, responsive web. We do a clean preview, hit save and run. Okay, we will close the default debug browser. Let's see the app in a real browser. Now we have the list contact view. You can click on John Doe to see his detail. Note the contact ID, which is the primary key and auto-generated, the name, company, phone, email, address, and notes. You can also click on Jen Doe to see her detail. Then we will click on New to create a new contact. David Doe, still part of home, 5444-2222. Email is david.doe@nowhere testonly.com. COM. And for notes, we're going to say inserted using new feature. Click on add. And then we see the alert that we added to the action script. A new contact has been inserted. Hit OK. And when you are backed out to the list all, you see there's David Doe. You can also see the detail. In summary, in this video we added the new contact feature so that you can create a new contact in your contact list using HCL Volt MX low code. Your Volt Iris project will now have a third form to input a contact details to save it to the Volt Foundry object service. I invite you to sign up for trial and to learn more using our HCL Software U. Thank you for watching this video.